It started with a phone call that shouldn't have happened. Mark had been scrolling through his evening emails when the ringtone shattered the silence. The caller ID blinked with his own name, something that made his stomach tighten. With a shaky hand, he answered, "Hello." He whispered on the other end. There was only static at first, a low, buzzing sound that crawled under his skin. Then a voice, unmistakably his own, spoke. "I'm missing. Have you seen me?" Mark froze, staring at the ceiling as though it might explain itself. The voice continued, recounting details about his apartment, things no one else could know. It spoke of the shirt he had worn that morning, the coffee cup he had left half full on the counter. Every small, mundane detail made the hair on his arm stand up. Mark dropped the phone as it rattled in his hand, the line crackling with static. He glanced at the mirror across the room, half expecting to see himself standing there, but there was nothing, only his own reflection, pale and wide-eyed. He tried to convince himself it was a prank, some twisted hacker with too much time, but the fear had already taken root, spreading through his chest like ice. Hours later, the call came. Again, the same words, "I'm missing. Have you seen me?" This time, Mark noticed something different, a faint background noise. Like a door creaking open somewhere, a smell, faint but unmistakable, of earth and decay filled the room. He realized with a sickening dread that the voice wasn't just on the phone. It was coming from somewhere inside his apartment. Mark's hand shook as he gripped the receiver, the line buzzing with static. He tried to speak, to tell the voice it was impossible, but his own words sounded foreign. Who is this?" he stammered. The voice laughed softly, his own laughter echoing around the walls of his small apartment. "Isn't it obvious?" It whispered, "It's me, the one you've lost." Panic clawed at his chest as he realized he hadn't left his apartment for hours, yet somehow, someone or something knew every move he had made. The lights flickered, shadows twisting. In corners where none should have been, he saw a silhouette move just outside the kitchen. Dark and hunched, Mark's mind screamed that it couldn't be real, that he was imagining it. But then a soft tap came at the bedroom door, deliberate. Slow, he backed away, tripping over a chair, his breath ragged and loud. The voice called again, calm and patient. "Why are you afraid of me?" Mark's pulse pounded in his ears as he realized the calls were following him through the apartment. Every room he entered, the voice was there, sometimes whispering, sometimes laughing. He tried to hide in the closet, but the static seeped. And even there, wrapping around him, he felt a cold presence brush against his shoulder. The air thick with dread. Mark screamed, and the voice joined in, perfectly matching his own timbre. It spoke of a date he had forgotten, an appointment here. Had missed. Every memory he held dear was being used to torment him, and then it said something that made him freeze in terror. "You can't hide from yourself." "Because I am you," Mark fled to the hallway, slamming doors behind him, but the sound of his own voice echoed. It wasn't coming from him, yet it followed him, whispering secrets only he should know. He ran to the front door, yanking at the handle, but it wouldn't budge. Windows shook as if something outside was trying to force its way in. The phone rang again, lying in the middle of the floor, its screen glowing with his name. He wanted to smash it, destroy it, but his hands moved as though controlled by another mind. The voice said, softly, "Don't be afraid, you were always missing." Mark fell to his knees, gasping, the room spinning around him. Shadows stretched and writhed along the walls, forming shapes that resembled his own body. He saw himself lying on the couch, eyes wide in terror, staring at the ceiling. It moved independently, mirroring his every move, but slightly delayed. The voice whispered again, "You see me now, don't you?" Mark screamed, pounding on the floor, hoping anyone would hear. But the apartment was silent, except for the static and the laughter. He realized with horror that the missing person he had reported weeks ago wasn't anyone else. It was him, taken and replaced by this other self. He tried to call 911, but the line was dead, replaced by that same whispering. The reflection in the hallway mirror was no longer his own. It grinned at him, twisted and unnatural. Eyes glinting with malevolence, Mark felt himself slipping, a cold void opening beneath him. The voice called, triumphant now, "I'm home." When the police arrived, they found the apartment empty. No sign of Mark, no trace of struggle, only the phone lying on the floor. The caller ID still blinked with his name, static humming softly. Neighbors whispered that they had heard a man screaming, but the apartment had been locked. No one could explain how the voice kept coming from the phone, even as officers checked the line days later. His family received a call from him, but it wasn't him. Not really. The voice on the line recounted memories, secrets, and confessions only Mark could know. It spoke of places he had been, things he had thought forgotten, and then it laughed. A cold, echoing sound, perfectly matching his own. Authorities traced the call, but it led nowhere, as if the number itself was lost. Those who listened to long reported strange dreams, whispers behind doors. Some claimed to see a man in there. Mirrors. Staring back with hollow eyes, the case went cold, filed away as a mysterious disappearance, unsolved. But the voice never stopped calling, always repeating the same words, "I'm missing, have you seen me?" And sometimes, when someone answers, the voice speaks their own name, and then the world changes forever. Because the missing person was never gone, they were inside, waiting.